Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have this really fun card to share with you that I am calling the All of the Birds Slimline birthday card. So let's jump right in. So I am going to make a slimline card, and my slimline cards are always I cut 4 inches off of a standard piece of cardstock, which is what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to score it at the 3.5 mark. So it's 7 inches by 8.5 inches. And then I score at 3.5, making it 3.5 by 8.5 inches. That is my preferred slimline size. I don't believe there's any right or wrong way to make a slimline card. I think it's just whether or not it can fit in a standard business envelope, which I believe is like a 10. So I make my own envelopes generally, so I don't really concern myself with that. I would just change it to what I'm making. I have a video with using the 1-2-3 punch to make slimline envelopes, and I'll have that linked in the corner there if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, that's the size that I aim for. So I am going to cut out, this is using SpellBinders Sweet Birds on a Branch die set. This was designed by Vicky Papineau. And you guys would have seen my winter birdhouse one, and I've done a summer birdhouse. I'll have those linked too if you guys want to check them out. But this one is just using the birds and their sentiments, the sentiments that she made as well, which was just called SpellBinders Tweet Sentiments. And I'm cutting them out in an array of Simon Says Stamp cardstocks. So for the birds, I have cotton candy, orange peel, bright yellow, green apple, sea glass, lavender, and blue violet. And anytime you see me doing a bird, like cutting out a bird there, I'm using one of those colors. I did also bring in a couple of different colors for different pieces. Like I used dark chocolate for the branches, and I cut out 2 of those. And I used green leaf for the leaves for the branches. I'm going to use lemon chiffon for the little feet, but I don't actually end up using the feet in this card. I did cut a couple out, but I don't actually end up using them. And then here you can see I'm just cutting out a piece of cream cardstock with the Waffle Flower Slim Lacy Layers dies. That's a bit of a mouthful. And that's just what's going to be my base to build this on. I did opt to go cream just because I wanted a little bit of difference between the white base and the cream cardstock. And I like how cream and tumbled glass look together. So that's what I'm going to blend with later. So here I'm just creating a little bit of dimension to my birds. I have some Hickory Smoke Oxide ink, and I just have a blending tool with a round foam. And I'm just kind of pouncing it on to create a little bit of dimension to my bird pieces. You can see there that it separately cuts the wings and the belly, so you can put them all together and create kind of like a layered effect. You could absolutely ink blend different colors to do this. You could die cut different colors of cardstock to do this. I don't own a lot of cardstock, so colored cardstock. I'm a paper hoarder. I own tons of cardstock, just not a lot of colored cardstock. So I didn't actually own a lot of colors that I could differentiate like doing a lighter color or a darker color for the belly and the wings. So I just actually opted to add some, and I chose gray in this instance just because I don't actually have any black in this card at all. And I kept it that way intentionally. I'm trying to challenge myself to step out of my comfort zone when it comes to colors. So with this, I actually chose to shade with Hickory Smoke, which is the gray color, one of anyway. The darker of the 2 grays that are available in the Oxide line. But like I said, you could absolutely do this with so many different options. This is just the one that I chose. And when I'm adhering everything down, I'm laying the belly down flat, and then I'm lifting up the edge of the wing just to add some more dimension to the card. This is, again, totally intentional, but up to you. You could lay them flat if you didn't want dimension, if you wanted it to be easier to mail out. I mean, there's so many ways that you could make this your own and make it stunning regardless, even if you're trying to like kind of mimic the design that I have here. So many ways to make this just simply beautiful. And I am using my liquid glue for this because, again, I like to have the wiggle room that liquid glue gives me. So I do kind of manipulate the wings and I move them around, and the belly as well, just to give me more time to kind of make sure that's actually where I want them to be. And with these dies, it does also kind of emboss a groove where you line up the extra pieces, the belly and the wing. So it's really easy to know where to put them. Now, of course, you don't have to follow that. You could put them elsewhere. But in this case, I am just following the lines on the actual bird itself and then just placing the items wherever they need to be on the bird. And I'm just showing you there that sorry, this is sped up. I'm just showing you that I did actually tape the bird's beak on this little green bird in and the eyes. I am going to actually remove the eyes later because all of the other little birds that are looking somewhere, like if they have an eye open, I actually popped the eye out so that it would be the cream cardstock shining through. And excuse me, in that one I didn't. So I just wanted to show you that you can keep them in. Like if you want to keep the die cut in, I just added a little piece of the mint tape that I used to hold my die cuts on, and to hold the eyes and the beak in of that one little bird. And then here I have a stencil. This is the MFT Cloud stencil, and I'm using Tumbled Glass and another blending tool. And I'm just blending the clouds on the background. Now, this stencil isn't really designed for Slimline necessarily. However, I don't ever let that stop me. I think you can make most things work with any size you want to work with. And I am just like spinning it because the image continues, right? So because of that, I just keep spinning the image until it fits the way that I want it to go across. And I do also have like some of the layers touch, some of them go out of the frame, and that's honestly just to give you some more perspective. It's really just to make it look like there's more going on outside of this scene than what you can see. And here's where I brought in my sentiment. This sentiment is from the SpellBinders Tweet Sentiments, which was designed to go with the birdhouses and the birds. So I'm just going to stamp that down in the little corner there, and it is for a birthday card. So I believe it says, "A little birdie told me it's your birthday." It says something similar to that. You guys will see when I hold it up here in a moment. And yeah, so I just wanted to shout out really quick a friend of mine, Heather. She actually picked the die set up for me, because I was having a heck of a time finding it. And she's one of my coworkers. She's an amazing lady. And I just thank you so much for grabbing this die set for me, Heather. I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, and then we're just going to adhere everything down. So I am going to mix it up a little bit. You can also see there that I've adhered the leaves to my branches. You'll see that one branch has 3 and one branch has 5. This is because, well, A, the die set cuts out 4. And B, because I really like to work in uneven numbers, right? You guys will know that if you've been on my channel for a minute. I think uneven numbers are way more appealing to the eye. So I did intentionally work in uneven numbers for this, so that you could have some differentiation there. And the branches don't need to look the exact same. And I mean, with the branches, you can see that I have one kind of facing down and one kind of facing up. They're the exact same branch. It's just that I'm trying to create it so that it looks like there's a little more going on there. And we are going to mix up how we adhere these down. Some of them will be glued down flat, and some of them I have some thin 3D foam squares adhered to the back of them. So depending on where they're sitting, like if they're sitting on the branch, like this bird in this instance, I put a little square behind his body, and then I adhered where I had him sitting on the branch, because of course the branch will be higher as it's cardstock on top of cardstock, right? Whereas the background will be flat. So I add the thin 3D foam square just to add a little more dimension to him and have him hold himself up, because he's only adhered in a small area. And then the yellow guy is actually directly on the background. Everybody else is pretty much sitting on the branch. And as you can see, I have 7 birds. Again, this is an uneven number. Now, granted, I do only have 2 branches. There is that. But you could have brought a third one in. I opted to just kind of make my uneven numbers in the floor, like in the leaves. And I did ponder bringing in some flowers from one of the other bird set, or not the bird sets, one of the bird houses sets, but I didn't because I was trying really hard to focus mostly on the birds in this instance. And I am just going to adhere them all down. I did intentionally kind of go in rainbow color, except for the orange and the green bird. I really wanted the yellow and the green bird. I really wanted the yellow bird to be kind of free flying, and it was too close to the branches to put him above. I did consider it, but in the end I opted not to, simply because I didn't like how little space it was there, and I felt like this kind of space between the 2 branches where the yellow bird ends up was the best fit for that bird. He's actually a bit bigger than the other birds. And I also brought in a white gel pen, and I'm just going to add some highlights on the birds wherever I think they'll look good. There's no right or wrong way to do this, to be honest with you, and this is super extra. You don't need to do this. I choose to do it because I think that it adds a lot more dimension to the bird, because, or in this case the birds, because I have the dark areas with the gray blending that I brought in, but there's nothing to differentiate to a lighter area, like a highlight. So I think that this, especially on that darker bird at the end there, really looks good and adds more dimension. So that's just kind of the way I go with it. This is extra. By no means would you need to do this. I just think that it adds a little something to it. So And I have a tendency towards being a little extra. So, and here you can see I'm using some 3D foam tape to just add a little more dimension to my card. And I did intentionally have pieces sticking out of the panel because I knew that this was smaller than the card base. So I intentionally had some extra room there. And you can see I just dropped it. But this is why I put liquid glue on the back, so that I'd be able to move it around even though I got that extra dimension. So, and then I dropped it and got glue everywhere anyway, but I got glue everywhere this whole project. It was actually kind of funny. But I'm interested in hearing everything down flat. And then here I'm going to bring in some gel gems. Some ice. Which ones are these? These are the Icy Sparkle Crystals by Studio Katia. These are some of my favorites. I actually finally got my hands on the gold ones. They should be in stock here pretty quick, I hope. They're just stunning. I love Studio Katia gems. And I'm just adhering 7 on here, a couple on each side, and then one kind of in the center-esque area. Again, this is just my uneven numberness. It's like I just lean there. It is just constant. That's just how I end up doing. And I'm going to hold it up so you guys can see it in all its glory. I'd love to know what you think of this card. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, leave me anything. I'd like to hear what you guys think, or you can tell me what you would like to see on the channel, or you can just leave me a conversation, and whatever you feel like leaving. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.